bitch. Why am I breathing? Something felt missing and then I realized I wasn't wearing my jewelry. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Marla. Nice to meet you if you're new here. I'm solely making this video because I scoured the internet for any videos like this when I was on Accutane. I did find some videos that people shared their experiences of being on Accutane, but I didn't really feel like it resonated with my story that much. And if anything, sometimes I felt a little discouraged because it felt like their experiences were a little bit better than mine. I don't know. But that's also just how Accutane is. It affects everyone so differently. So take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a dermatologist. I am just a girl with a story. Okay, first off, my credentials. We're getting up close and personal. This is my skin currently. Mind you, I am wearing makeup, but my skin is so much healthier and happier than what it used to be. So I also do want to give my sympathies to anyone that is struggling with acne because it is literally the worst. Okay, it's not actually the worst, like there's much worse issues in life, but it is something that definitely affects your day-to-day. It really can screw with your confidence, and I also do feel like it's, honestly, I would describe it just as annoying. Like it's a frustrating thing to deal with. So you're doing great. Don't give up hope. Okay, starting off, this was my skin before. Here's some photos. I never really had awful skin growing up. I did definitely have acne like here and there. Nothing that ever made me think I needed to go to a dermatologist. I don't think acne is genetic in my family either. My parents have great skin. COVID was just difficult all around. In 2020, that is when I was a senior in high school, and then heading into 2021, I became a nail tech. So I did nail technician school. Pretty standard to like wear a mask just because there's like nail dust everywhere, there's fumes. So that's nothing new. But because it was also COVID time, the school I was at was incredibly strict about wearing masks, but for like good reason. So I was there the entire school day wearing a mask from like, I think I was there from 7:30 to 2:30. All I'm saying is I was wearing a mask all day. So I remember I'd go home and I'd take off the mask and I'd be like, my skin has this weird texture that I've never really seen before. Mind you, I've had acne breakouts before, but the actual texture of my skin was changing, not for the better. Most of 2021, my skin texture stayed the same. It is now late 2021 and I started going to a skin esthetician. I'd heard of Accutane at that point, but I was very adverse to going on it because I did struggle with some mental health issues that weren't really diagnosed at the time, and it scared me to think that it would cause my mental health to get worse at all. So I avoided it. But I did start going to a skin esthetician. It was called Skin Therapy. I'm in Utah, so it was in Salt Lake City, and I lived like an hour and a half south of Salt Lake. It was incredibly expensive. They had like a whole skin regimen that you're supposed to go on. Plus I was like, it's my skin. You know, I'm willing to pay for this because if it means I have clear skin, like that's worth it to me. So I did the skin therapy for like 6 months and my skin did clear up. By the end of it, it was looking a lot healthier. It felt a lot better. So now I'm in 2022. It's the summertime. I'm now considering going on a study abroad. I ended up selecting to go to Thailand. It was such a great experience, but if you've ever been to Thailand or if you're familiar with it, it is very humid. The humidity wrecked my skin. Any progress I felt like I'd ever made with skin therapy, it was gone. So that is when the acne came back full force and the texture was just so bad. I have so many videos of me just being like, what is going on with my skin? Plus I was also wearing masks while teaching with the humidity. Not a good combo. That is when my lovely roommates in Thailand, I was able to talk to some of them about their experiences with Accutane or some of their like family friends experiences. And that is when the general consensus for me, I like decided it was time for me to try it. And the biggest thing that was so comforting to me was that ultimately, if it was starting to cause like mental health issues or worsening side effects that I just didn't want to deal with, I could always stop the pill. Like it's not that big of a deal. I can get off of it. I got home from my study abroad in late December, and then in January I booked my first dermatology appointment, and then I think it was February 1st when I had my very first appointment with the doctor. Oh, I did kind of forget. Before I ever went to that skin therapy in 2021, I had gone to a dermatologist and I told him I didn't want to go on Accutane even though he tried putting me on it, and he recommended, I wish I could remember the name of the medication, but I was on it for about 6 to 7 weeks and it made my skin burn like none other. Even just putting on moisturizer was very painful, and with any skin medication you're gonna go on, it's gonna take time. You do have to be very patient. For me, the way my skin was burning from just doing anything from blinking too hard, I was like, this is not worth it to me. Plus my skin wasn't clearing up at all. If anything, I was like, it looks worse. So I got off of that. That's when I ended up doing skin therapy. So I did try another medication before Accutane. Okay, now what was my first appointment like? I was recommended the dermatologist I went to by one of my friends who had also been on Accutane and been to that same doctor. I don't know how much it matters what doctor you go to or how much, you know, your experience varies, because once you're on the, you know, the pill's the pill, it's all the same. I know they do like different dosages, but I know it's not the same for every state, but in Utah they allow you to select abstinence as your form of birth control. I ended up selecting abstinence, so I was not on any like pill or any form of birth control other than simply not having sex. My skin at this point post Thailand was horrible and I felt very insecure. I got prescribed to go on, I think it was 20 milligrams of Accutane, and I did it every other day. So I took the pill every other day, and I was recommended to take it with high fat foods. foods. So this could be like avocado, peanut butter. You can just Google high fat foods, but I would try to take it every morning and I was very consistent with it. The most disappointing thing I think that came from my Accutane experience for me, like that I wish I, you know, would have been more informed with, was that it was going to take a lot of time. The doctor I went to mistakenly gave me some false hope because he told me within the first month a lot of his patients ended up clearing up. So I was like, awesome, like that could be me. Why would I be the exception? You know, I could get clear skin within the first month. Wrong. So within the first month, my skin, the common side effects I started experiencing was just very dry skin, which I was very well prepared for. And then probably the most annoying one at that point was you'd get kind of, your lips would get so dry that you'd sometimes get slits right here on the side. So if you opened up your mouth too wide, it hurt. I described it as like when you eat an otter pop during the summertime and it kind of slits right here. Not very fun, but just use some Vaseline and it'll be fine. From there, about every 6 weeks, I was scheduled out for my next appointment. I was required to take a pregnancy test every single time. And then I think I got my blood drawn a total of 2 times throughout the experience. I just like pricked it. It was not bad at all. And that's just to make sure like your liver's functioning well, because it is a pretty intense medication to be on. Everyone has glands in their skin. And oftentimes when you have acne, it's because your glands are producing either too much oil or they're too big. And so what the Accutane is doing is it's shrinking down your glands until they're literally almost non-existent. And then the goal is when you get off of Accutane, they regulate to a more normal size and therefore you have clear skin. Okay, the duration of Accutane. I was on Accutane from February 1st until October, so it was a total of 9 months, and I think I even went in a little bit into October, so let's just round it out to a nice 10. When I was told once again that like your skin could clear up within a month, lies. For me, that was lies. I was also told that the average time to be on Accutane was about 6 months, so when I was going on month 7, 8, 9, almost 10, I was like, what is going on? But let me break it down for you how each month went. February, the first month was fine. I was just incredibly dry. My skin looked very much the same. Month 2, I noticed my skin starting to break out even more, which is very common. They say once you get on Accutane, it's essentially pushing everything that's in your skin, any of the gunk, out to the front to get it out and to get rid of it. So I started purging, which it was nothing too dramatic. It was month 3. Never in my life have I had such bad acne. It felt deep, it felt painful, it felt like every inch of my face was covered with a new pimple every morning, which was such a bummer, but I also did definitely, like, I knew that my skin was purging. So the medication's doing something, right? May, it was also still purging. June, it was also still purging. So month 5, and mind you, some people are like, yeah, my skin was clear by month 6. This was a pretty disappointing time for me because I'm like, here we are on the 5th month and my skin looks horrific and it feels horrible. July, I noticed I had stopped breaking out. So this is month 6. I had stopped breaking out at this point, but my skin was just, it wasn't plateauing. It just wasn't worse, but it wasn't better. So end of July, end of month 6, end of month 7, this is when I noticed the most change. It felt like there was no new active pimples on my face and everything was starting to actually like dry up and dry out. Month 8, it was so dramatic by how quickly my skin was healing. It was honestly really weird. It felt like every week my skin was getting a little bit clearer. By month 9, my skin was so incredibly dry, but it was clear. Obviously, I had some acne scarring and I had some hyperpigmentation. By this month, I was like, my skin, I'll take it. Like I look, my eyes are red. By month 10, my skin was, I would say, pretty dang clear. Like I was very happy with it. So that's when I ended up getting off of the medication. What my dosages looked like is I started out on 20 milligrams every other day. Then I eventually, about every 6 weeks, I would up my dosage. Then I went to 20 milligrams every day. And then the next 6-week appointment, I went up to 40 milligrams one day, 20 milligrams the other day. So it was alternating. Then eventually it was up to 40 milligrams every day. And then I eventually got up to 60 milligrams every day. And then I got up to, I think it was 80 milligrams every single day. That was like during the May, June time, July, around there. And I remained on that dosage for the duration of my treatment until I started to wean off, where they just like slowly reduced what I was on. So anyway, it was kind of a long process. It was a lot longer than I expected, but I just would say if you are on the pill or if you're thinking about going on it, just give yourself grace and literally just think like this is going to take a long time. Your expectations are going to be reduced and I think it'll just be easier, honestly, on you mentally if, you know, things are going like this. Side effects. Everyone's favorite thing about Accutane. The obvious ones: dry lips, dry skin, and then you sunburn like none other. I know a lot of people like try to start in the winter or like do it during the winter time. It doesn't, just start it whenever. You're best to wear hats, wear long sleeves, but you do burn so easily. Your skin is just incredibly sensitive. It feels also incredibly thin. If you're a skin picker, stop it. If you're able to stop it, please stop, because when you're on Accutane, your skin is just so fragile. So like literally rubbing it too hard, like my skin would rip. You're just so delicate during this time. I'm like, please be gentle. You should be treating your skin like a flower petal. So even when you're washing your makeup off, like be gentle with it. I remember one time I did get hit in the face with a baseball. It wasn't bad or anything. It was like someone had like just kind of chucked it and I was in the way. It hit my chin and it did not hurt that bad at all, but I literally had a massive gash right here on my chin just because my skin rips so easily. Mental health wise, I was completely fine. Nothing new seemed to come up. I didn't seem like my mental health was worsened at all. I personally didn't feel like that was a side effect for me, and I was honestly really happy anytime someone would tell me that was the same experience for them, because it gave me hope that, you know, that could be me too, and it was what I didn't expect. I don't want to tell any of this to scare anyone. My eyesight got dramatically worse. I ended up needing to get glasses. So towards the end of my Accutane treatment, when I was like on that 80 milligrams, I was in college, I was in my classroom, and half the time I realized I was squinting because I'm like, I cannot read what's on the board. And I've never been one to really have bad vision, so this was very new for me. It was dramatic enough for me to feel like I need to go to an eye doctor. So I ended up going to an optometrist, and the way the doctor explained it to me, he said essentially the back of my eye sockets look like there's eczema patches on them because my eyes were so dry, like they were chronically dry. I ended up getting a glasses prescription, and then I was also recommended to take, I'm literally pulling up the photo, it was the Refresh Plus, their lubricant eye drops, and they're preservative free. I was instructed to literally take those like 2 to 3 times a day, so I was very adamant about doing that, and by the time I got off of Accutane and a few months after, my vision was restored like back to what it was before. My vision's fine now. And then the other side effect I did not expect, I was really bummed about, was hair loss. I probably lost more than half of the density of my hair. I concluded Accutane in 2023, and I would say my hair is now fully restored, healthy, it's long again. It feels great, like I have no complaints, but it was so dead, so thin. And I was very bummed because I didn't have any hair loss throughout my experience on Accutane. It wasn't until I ended it that like my hair was coming out in clumps in the shower, and I was like, oh cool, awesome. The only thing I would have done differently looking back is I would have put on like a moisturizing scalp serum every single morning and night. Maybe that would have helped with that, but I don't know. Where I'm at now, my skin breaks out still. I get a lot of like small pimples around my mouth sometimes, but my skin is just dramatically better from what it was a couple years ago. My breakouts are much more manageable. They're not as long, and they also heal pretty well if I don't pick at them. I would in a heartbeat do Accutane again. I've been off of the pill for a full 2 years, and my skin's been great. Okay, and then to conclude the video, these were my survival guide products, things that I recommend to anyone that texts me, anyone that asked, I recommend these products. What actually sparked this video idea is I had a friend from one of my first semesters of college. She texted me being like, hey, I'm about to go on Accutane. I don't even know if you remember me, but like, do you have any advice? Number one product is so obvious, but it's Vaseline. Mine happens to be bedazzled. That's not necessary, but really Vaseline or Aquaphor, they are both amazing. The next one is such a non-negotiable, and it doesn't matter which one it is. This one is my favorite. I'll have everything linked down below, but sunscreen. Sunscreen is, I feel like, the main reason why my scarring healed so well and the discoloration, because I was adamant about putting this on and staying out of the sun. This one is from Skin Better Science. It is expensive. It's like 75 bucks. I will say though, this does last a few months, and personally for me, I feel like it's an investment in my skin. It's worth it. I love the texture of this. I love how thick it is. It doesn't leave a white cast, and this one actually is tinted, so I love to wear it in replace of like foundation. This one I've probably gone through at this point 8 or 9 bottles. As for cleansers, keep it simple. If your dermatologist recommends something, just go with it, but I love Vanicream. Vanicream is sold at Target and Walmart, and it's pretty dang affordable, and I feel like it's just really great for sensitive skin. With that being said, this is my moisturizer that I recommend to anyone and everyone, and I have multiple people that I've convinced to get this and to start wearing because it is that good. It's also from Vanicream. This is their moisturizing cream for sensitive skin. It's free of dyes, fragrance, masking fragrance, lanolin, I don't even know what that is, parabens, and formaldehyde releasers, and it's gluten-free. I don't even know what half that stuff is. All I know is that this was my saving grace while I was on Accutane. I put this on morning and night after washing my face. I've gone through 15 bottles of these, and I will forever probably wear this till the day I die. It'll be like get with me for my funeral viewing. I'll have them put this on me. Sorry, that was kind of morbid. But anyway, this is literally the best. It's also like 15 bucks for this huge tub, so I really think it is amazing. Once again, everything will be linked down below. Oh, and then one other side effect I didn't expect was if I put on certain perfumes, or really any perfumes in general, or like perfumed lotion, I get rashes all up and down my arms right here. So, I mean, once again, just your entire body's so sensitive. Your skin is, because of the Accutane medication. That was kind of unexpected. My heart goes out to anyone that's struggling with their acne or their skin or anything, because it's so frustrating. My tummy hurts so bad. That is my Accutane survival guide. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll have everything that I talked about linked down below, even the eye drops, but that'll be it. I'll
subscribe.
Brock's sitting on the ground watching me film. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video, and I love you so much. Bye. Say goodbye, say subscribe.